Today we're gonna be doing a different type of video. We're gonna be picking, Madara Uchiha in his 10 Tails state, and we're gonna throw him against the god tier characters in the verse, starting with Juubito all the way until DMS Kakashi. And today with me we got Mr. Lightning Snow. Say hello to everybody.
What's happening, guys?
And yeah, we're gonna start with Juubito. We're gonna be talking about single Rinnegan Juubidara at first, and if single Rinnegan Juubidara has a tough time beating a particular character in the situation, we're gonna move on to dual Rinnegan Juubidara and then Rinnesharingan Juubidara if needed. But I think it's pretty safe to assume that if single Rinnegan Juubidara beats a particular character, then dual Rinnegan Juubidara is gonna do the same much more easily. But what do you think about Juubito? Yeah, let's begin with him.
Juubito, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. I don't want to sleep on Juubito because Juubito is a tough opponent for most of the verse to take up against, as we saw in the war arc. But when it comes to single and again even dual Rinnegan Madara, you mentioned it before, it's pretty much he has all of Obito's abilities, but they are just much more stronger now. So I don't want to like talk too much on an answer that's pretty obvious, but like what can Obito really do against someone who has again all of his own abilities but are even more stronger?
Yeah, and the thing is, if you just want to scale their speed, for example, Juubito was getting blitzed by Tobirama's Flying Thunder God, and not even Juubidara, but alive Madara was casually dodging Tobirama coming from behind with a flying Raijin. So you just see the difference in power. Imagine when Madara gets the 10 tails on top of him just being faster and has a better reaction time than Juubito.
Even a better feat, like freaking Juubidara managed to not blitz, but he was able to react to Minato when Minato tried to blitz him, and that's even a better feat because Minato's better at teleporting and that was the Minato with Sage Mode too. So like, you
could say Juubito also kind of bisected one of Minato's arms. However, that was a dazed Minato. I think we've talked in length about that in several occasions. Minato wasn't really fighting very well because he was shocked Obito was the bad guy all along in that particular situation. But what can you see? Like, what could Obito try to do in this situation against Juubidara? Can he do anything at all?
Well, now that we discussed many times that Kamui is completely stripped away from him, there really isn't. I mean, maybe he cuts Madara's head off in a lucky strike with the sword of Nunaboko, which, hey, I mean, who knows? I mean, honestly, that thing could be strong. That thing could be really strong because like the only reason that it did so crappily in the Naruto and Sasuke like scuffle they had was because Obito's will was wavered a little bit.
Yeah.
So if Obito was like, the gloves are off and Obito's ready to go and without any kind of unwavering, side effects going on in his mind, then who knows? He might be able to pull off the win. Yeah, but, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if Madara sees him pulling the sword of Nunaboko out, I can see Madara doing the exact same thing. Oh, you're doing this? Let me do it too. And they can just clash their swords. And, well, because Madara is inherently more powerful than Obito in their base forms, and Madara has a better version of the 10 tails than Obito did because he had half of the 9 tails and the entire 8 tails, but Obito had a sliver of both of them. It's tough, man. Like,
no, I mean, I'm giving it to Madara for sure. I just I hate sleeping on my boy Obito because it's Obito, but like you said, he has every single one of Obito's abilities as the 10 tails, and they're just stronger. It's just, at the end of the day, that's how it goes.
Also, he has the 6 Crimson Ray formation, which Obito himself uses the Truth-Seeking Orbs to tank the attack without a scratch. Juubidara would do the exact same thing here. And obviously, we're assuming that both characters have the 10 tails at the same time during this fight, because this would be impossible to happen in universe, but whatever.
Don't be that guy, guys. Don't be that person. It's like, oh, it can't happen. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Let's assume for whatever reason Obito's chakra manages to stabilize, and he manages to use Kamui in his Juubito state, just like he uses normally. He's phasing through stuff, sucking people into the Kami dimension. Would Madara lose in that situation?
I wouldn't think so because he may not be able to hit Obito a whole lot, but at the same time, what's Obito gonna do? He still has to become solid in order to damage Madara. And as we said, I don't think that in terms of raw power, I don't think that I mean, I'm not saying Obito would be able to hurt or damage Madara in this state, but it'd be really hard to do. And I mean, worst case, if Madara really felt like he needed to, he can just use his Susanoo. And as far as I'm aware, Obito can't use a Susanoo. He
definitely cannot, because he doesn't have two Mangekyo Sharingan. And Madara never uses the Susanoo as a Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails, but in the video games he does, and his Susanoo is enormous, by the way. Like, it's 10 times bigger than Sasuke's Susanoo. It's insane. It's a shame he never used it in the series.
And nobody be out there to be that guy, be like, well, Madara didn't use the Susanoo, so you shouldn't really use that. I'm like, that doesn't make any freaking sense, because he should absolutely be able to still use it. So, and I feel
he was using Kamui. Like, Obito couldn't use Kamui as the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, but Madara could, and Madara
for real. So don't be the. But anyway, so like that's a worst case. I don't think Madara would even need to use Susanoo, but if he really felt like he had to, I mean,
and Obito can actually see the Limbo clones. Everything indicates that's the case, because when Madara returns and Obito is in the battlefield, he has one of Madara's Rinnegan, and Madara thinks, well, I shouldn't use the Limbo clone here while Obito is here, because, well, he has his Rinnegan, therefore he would be able to see the Limbo clones. But even if you can see them, they can still be very annoying. Like, they were doing a lot against Naruto and Sasuke, who could sense or see them.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but don't the Limbo clones have like pretty much the same abilities as the host?
Yeah, that's what the data book states, that the Limbo clones have the exact same capabilities as the user. And we can also see that in the video games, the Limbo clones are using Susanoo as well. It's just something.
That would be crazy. That'd be one thing I would question, but I mean, I guess. But still, though, like, just having all the regular abilities of Ten Tails Madara, even if it's only one Rinnegan, and just having two Limbo clones that you can't, you can still see, but I don't know, like, because it's not gonna be like Shadow clones or Wood clones that will just disappear whenever they're destroyed or hurt badly enough. You know, these things are gonna these things are gonna be on the field for a while. So, like, I don't know. I can't really see
Obito doing much stuff here.
Even if we gave him,
and we're talking about single Rinnegan Juubidara here, by the way. Like, not even dual Rinnegan Juubidara, because dual Rinnegan Juubidara steamrolls him pretty bad.
I mean, I guess the only thing that we could give Obito is if we gave him the Kamui phasing ability, then we might have to give him the sucking up into the Kamui dimension ability too.
Yeah, even if you give him that, and he manages to touch Juubidara and begins to suck him into the Kamui dimension, I think there are several things Juubidara could do to avoid that. First, he could just punch Obito with a Limbo clone. Second, he can use his Truth-Seeking Orbs to form a shield. Like, there are several ways he can avoid that. Like, Minato did the same thing. He was being sucked into the Kamui dimension, just teleported away. Juubidara can also substitute with his Limbo clone, so he could probably do the same thing. And is Obito then going to suck the Limbo clone into Kamui? Because I don't even think he can interact in that way with a Limbo clone.
Well, even if he could, like, say for example, if he could, then that would leave a Limbo clone in Kamui dimension to attack Obito.
That would be very bad.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, it wouldn't even be like, I mean, not even that like I said, he can just substitute his Limbo clone, and like maybe his or like if Madara's getting sucked in, like maybe the Limbo clone can like pull Madara back. I don't know. Like, I don't know if he can do that, but but like I said, at the end of the day, I just
we're kind of forcing an Obito situation here, but it's kind of futile to be honest.
I love Obito, I really do, but
Madara, no diff, and dual Rinnegan, like, no way.
Yeah, but even if we're talking about dual Rinnegan Madara, I just like, bro, no. I'm sorry, but no.
And after Juubito, the next godlike character we see is 8 Gates Guy, and I think this one is actually the most straightforward fight we're gonna get here, because he literally fights against Juubidara in canon, and he loses with the help of Kakashi, Gaara, and Minato, and Rock Lee too, and he still loses against the weakest version of Juubidara.
Hey, we're not taking away from him. He did very good, but in a hypothetical, like like one-on-one, like full 100 capacity on each side, even one Rinnegan Madara, we saw that. I mean, we saw that in the show. I mean, granted, Madara did say he was almost killed, but I also do think that Madara was blatantly like trying to see if he could tank the guy attack.
He saw him coming towards him. It's implied that he wasn't able to react to him, but he saw it coming, and he never uses limbo or anything like that to stop Guy. And Madara was just having a great time in that fight. It was the first time he was having fun fighting anyone ever since he fought Hashirama in the Valley of the End. And that's why he was like, let's see what you can do. Charge that thing and come at me, bro.
Not even that, like, because obviously we know he was, like you said, he was like standing, so he saw a guy coming in, but also like he was kind of caught off guard because he saw a guy was literally bending space around him. So obviously that's going to catch you off guard if you're, you know, if that's happening to you. So like I said, Madara was just seeing if he could tank it, and I mean he did. I mean Madara literally like tanked a night guy point blank.
If that was Juubito, I think Juubito would be annihilated by that jutsu.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But like, Juubidara is just something else.
And then that was even one Rinnegan. So if we go to two, I mean, I honestly think like, Madara would kill Guy before Guy's time right now with dual Rinnegan.
Oh, for sure. Like Guy can't do anything about the limbo clones. Like he cannot sense them. Maybe he can outspeed them, but he doesn't even know he's outspeeding something because he doesn't know they exist, which is a problem.
and this is gonna be a one-on-one hypothetical with no help either.
Yeah, no help whatsoever.
Guys, so yeah, I love Guy, but
everyone loves Guy, man. But unfortunately, like he doesn't fare well against Juubidara here, especially without his team helping him out.
The fact that Madara was literally able to regenerate like he's Majin Buu from Dragon Ball, like bro, like that's something that like I've never seen in the freaking Naruto verse.
Half of his body was exploded, and he was like laughing and saying, "Oh, you almost killed me, you bastard!"
But he wasn't even worried. Like it's like a normal person would be like, "Oh my gosh, I almost died!" Like he's like he started laughing. It's like you almost killed me. How dare you? But he was laughing about it though. So
yeah, it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
I think this is a good segue to Naruto and Sage of Six Paths Senjutsu mode. He arrives and saves my guy from Madara's orb of destruction, and I think the fights are going to start to get a little bit more interesting here because Naruto's definitely way stronger than Juubito or 8 Gates Guy. So what are your initial thoughts for this one?
So if we're doing one Rinnegan Madara right now, I do think Naruto puts up a fight, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And I do think he gives Madara a solid run for his money because, I mean, if we're going off of this fight with no knowledge, like right off the bat, like how we saw like in the show, like obviously Madara had some surface level knowledge, but he was completely taken back about how efficient Naruto was about evading the limbo and how he got all this like this extra power.
He was touching the truth-seeking orbs without being disintegrated too.
Yeah, so like Madara, if this is the same thing, Madara will be completely taken off guard because that was just only a couple of things. Like that wasn't even the beginning of what Naruto could really do with like all his abilities. And there are probably things that Naruto himself isn't aware that he can do until he actually accidentally does them. You know, or like one of the tail beasts, like, hey, you can combine my chakra with this attack, and he's like, oh, okay, and he just launches it. So like I think that with the raw chakra that Naruto possesses and Naruto's unusual cleverness, I think he does give Madara a solid run for his money, even with one Rinnegan.
So there's some things we have to kind of differentiate here because sure, when Naruto arrives in the battlefield, he's not using his Kurama chakra mode, he's just using the Sage of Six Paths Senjutsu, and that's why he's able to punch the truth-seeking orbs and stuff like that. But I think people blow out of proportion, you know, everything Naruto did in that situation. Sure, he punched Madara's staff and he was cracking the tree behind him, but that's like, okay, Madara was just like, you can touch my thing here, interesting. And then what people really say, oh, the lava Rasa Shuriken messed Madara up, it didn't really do that much damage. Like, sure, it cut the entire tree off, but if you look at Madara's state after the lava Rasa Shuriken, he had a superficial cut on his stomach, and that was it. And he was like thinking, what did Obito do here? He wasn't exactly worried about Naruto. Sure, he was impressed Naruto could dodge the limbo clone, but I think people tend to, you know, overestimate Naruto's abilities here and say that he was completely stomping Juubidara. And also there's the fact that Juubidara absorbs the entire tree, and like it's implied that Madara gets an amp after that. Some people say it's like an entire Jubi worth of an amp, but I don't really think it's that
I
big of an
don't
amp.
buy that. Yeah, I don't buy that. I think it's just like
No, like 10% more powerful, maybe something like that.
I mean, the way Madara had the look on Madara's face, it like you said, it implies it's a serious amp, but just from the performance he gives after, it doesn't look like it was a, it didn't look like he was doing that. I mean, I honestly felt like his second Rinnegan was more the amp than the
Of
Gotri
course,
was.
like absolutely. The thing is, like, he was just fighting against Naruto without Kurama, the Kurama chakra, and then he was fighting against Sasuke and Naruto with the Kurama chakra. But like, they had such a brief altercation, Naruto and Madara was just healing from Guy's attack. Like, he wasn't at his peak condition of that. I think the amp the tree gives is pretty overestimated, but even if we consider Madara that was fighting against Sasuke and Naruto afterwards with a tree, then I think this fight is still, a tough fight, but Madara has an edge here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, like, the thing is we talked about before on videos back where just Naruto has so much raw. I mean, again, because he has all the nine tail beasts and just his normal chakra in general, like, he has so many clones he could use and the chakra Kurama avatars if he needed to, and it's just all very impressive. But like we said before, Madara should still be able to use the Susanoo, which should be, if we are comparing it to the games, then it should be twice the size as Sasuke's, which is crazy big anyway. And I think that Madara could handle himself with Naruto alone. I know he's got clones or whatever to back him up, but I mean, Madara was doing just fine, 1v2. Like, I know he was taken back by the. Well, honestly, and that's the thing too, is like it's kind of hard to like criticize someone's performance in a battle when they're just completely taken off. Like Jiraiya, for example, Jiraiya was totally caught off guard by each one of Pain's abilities after he showed it, like a new one. Like, because each time he thought he was gaining an edge in his fight, Pain made use of a new ability that Jiraiya hadn't seen yet. And so this is kind of the same thing where like Madara was completely taken back by these new abilities they got. So and I get that, like, that's how it is in most battles. Like, you're gonna be surprised by some kind of ability that you haven't seen yet, but I don't think it's too fair to discredit Madara's performance in there, because like you said, sometimes it can be a little bit hyped up that Naruto did so well, but I think a lot of it was because Madara was just completely surprised at these new abilities they acquired.
Like, Naruto hits Madara with the Lava Rasen Shuriken, and then he only hits Madara again with his Magnet Rasengan, and he only hit Madara in that situation because of Aminote Jikara, because Sasuke literally teleported Madara in front of them. Otherwise, he wouldn't have hit Madara that occasion. And Madara still substitutes with a Limbo clone and completely shrugs that off. Now, I think Naruto would try something like he was doing against Kaguya and use 5,000 shadow clones if he was fighting against Madara alone. That would probably be what he would try at first. I don't think he would even try the Kurama avatar. He never tries that against Kaguya, and he didn't try it against Juubidara either, so I don't think he would. Only if Madara pulls the Susanoo first, which maybe would happen. We don't know.
Well, I would think he would, because I mean, if Naruto wants to summon 5,000 shadow clones, my instant reaction would be to summon the Susanoo. I mean, that's just me, but I guess Madara might just seem like he's too overpowered in the moment and might try to take on all the clones at once, which is possible, I suppose. He can summon, like, I don't know how many meteors he needs to deal with all of them. So, I mean, and plus he's got the Limbo clones as well. Even if we give him one Rinnegan and only has 2 Limbo clones, or if we give him dual Rinnegan and he has 4, like, I mean, I honestly think that, like, Naruto's inability to see them, I know he could sense them, but I feel like
it's much worse to sense than to see them. Like, it's not as definitely not as good. But also Madara has the Light Fang in Ton Raiha, which is the attack that Naruto actually dodged. However, that attack was used one time and it just completely cut through Naruto's, truth-seeking orbs, which is supposed to be the most powerful defensive jutsu in the series, and Madara's attack completely annihilated them. If Madara uses that more consistently, it seems to be this very long line of power that could probably shred through several clones at the same time as well.
Yeah, I mean, Naruto, you can see in the panel, like, or even in the anime, Naruto barely dodged that. Like,
that's actually Ranton Koga. Inton Raiha is the other one. The one Madara uses the lightning the purple lightning stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But that one's still pretty powerful. Like, Naruto was able to block that with the truth-seeking orbs, but he was, afraid of that enough that it would prompt him to use the truth-seeking orbs, which is not something he does all the time.
I would say you don't want to give those up. So if you have to, that says something.
Yeah.
So I mean, but even the light light fang, that one, like you said earlier, like, I mean, Naruto barely dodged that, and
Sasuke was helping him out in that situation too. So
yeah, and that thing was a clean cut to the True Seeker orb. Like, that thing cut it clean. So
it was pretty
that's
insane.
no joke.
Yeah.
So if Madara uses that more strategically, and I'm not saying the way he used it wasn't, but I'm just saying, like, that's nothing too we need to get into. Like, I know Naruto's clever. Like, Naruto honestly is
pretty smart.
He's one of the cleverest. He's one of the most clever shinobi in the series. But Madara, like, we're talking about Madara here. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's smarter than Naruto, and he has a lot more experience than him. He's not like Kaguya that's just gonna be taking Naruto's attacks and not knowing what to do against them. Madara, he knows everything it has to know about ninjutsu, genjutsu, taijutsu, and all that. Like, he knows how to counter stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, I think if I had to take a guess about how this fight would go.
We forgot, I think, Naruto's best jutsu, which is the 9 Rasen Shuriken combo that he uses the Tail Beast chakra for each Rasen Shuriken, a different Tail Beast. And that hit Kaguya very hard. We were talking about this before, and that was when Kaguya began to, get unstable, and she ballooned into that rabbit form. But she kind of shrugged that off in the end of the day, but I can still see this jutsu being problematic for Madara. Like, sure, he didn't get very hurt by one Rasen Shuriken, but 9 at the same time, if they all hit, that would be a problem.
Yeah, because we were thinking, like, what would happen maybe is that the same thing that happened to Kaguya, where she got hit with all 9 Rasen Shurikens at the same time, and because they all had Tail Beast chakra, they ended up resonating with the Tail Beast chakra that was inside Kaguya. So the same thing may happen here, and it might create an opening for Naruto, because Madara, the Tail Beast side Madara, might start going unstable, and who knows what it might turn into. But while Madara is transforming into whatever he's about to transform into, Naruto may or may not capitalize on it. I mean, it's possible, but Naruto might just be confused about what's going on, so he may not. But we were just saying as a possibility where, like, if Madara turns into something that's unstable, then it'll be easier for Naruto to maybe land the killing blow.
Yeah. Even still, like, if Madara sees 9 massive Rasen Shurikens coming at him, I'm pretty sure he's gonna do something about it. He's not gonna just be looking at them just like Kaguya was. Because honestly, she wasn't blitzed by them, but she didn't do anything about it. She was just like, oh, look at the attack coming at me. I'm not gonna do anything. Like, not very smart for Kaguya.
Yeah, Madara will be flying around and trying to avoid it, or maybe put up some True Seeker orbs to defend against it, maybe.
I can see Madara Susanoo being destroyed by them, even Juubidara Susanoo in this situation, but he also has the truth-seeking orbs, which should do something to negate the damage. But even still, Madara also has other ways to attack Naruto that are pretty powerful, or more powerful than this combo that Naruto pulls against Kaguya.
He might even have the Limbo clones, like, try to attack Naruto before he throws the Rasen Shuriken. That way he can kind of throw the trajectory off of the...
Yeah, because there's the thing about Madara. He is the only person in universe that can differentiate the real one from the shadow clones, which is a big deal. Like, he wouldn't be fooled by Naruto's strategy against Kaguya, where he displaces his truth-seeking orbs to a clone, and then she's like, I killed him! No, it was a clone.
Yeah, so if I had to do, like, 1 to 10, I'd say the Madara... 1 Rinnegan Madara takes it.
I was thinking about, like, 7 out of 10 for 1 Rinnegan Madara.
6 to 7 out of 10 of 1 Rinnegan, and then dual, I was gonna say, like, 8 or 9.
Yeah, I don't really see Naruto beating dual Rinnegan Juubidara here. It's because you have to understand that when you get the second Rinnegan, it's not just like the sum of the 2 Rinnegan's powers. It's an exponential increase in power. It's insane. Like, Obito couldn't use the pair of the Rinnegan Rinnegan because he just couldn't handle a power. He could only use one. So it's just a completely different level as well. Like when he gets the second one, it's insane.
Yeah, I've often been guilty of that too, of like just not understanding how much stronger a second Rinnegan makes a person.
It's kind of sad because we don't see that Madara doing a lot of stuff, but the stuff he does, he claps his hands casually and summons like 20 Chibaku Tensei planetoids as though nothing's happening, and Naruto and Sasuke have to put their powers together, and they kind of struggle a lot to, you know, counter that jutsu, and meanwhile Madara's casting Infinite Tsukiyomi. So it's pretty crazy what he can do. Like it's funny too because Sakura was attacking him and Madara was just like looking at her. What are you doing?
Oh yeah, for real. Honestly, it's the stupidest thing she could have done. But anyway.
And also Naruto and Sasuke, when they go and rescue Sakura in that situation, they're hit by Madara's limbo clones, meaning that the limbo clones can still punch them. They're not like, you know, faster or anything like that than the clones. So dual Rinnegan Juubidara is just insane. I think we could move on to Sasuke now after the Naruto conclusion here. I mean, Rinnegan Sasuke, obviously. Anything before that, like... What are your thoughts?
Because we were talking about this one before we started recording, and Daigo was like, you know what, I think Sasuke would probably put up a better fight. Well, in terms of being a nuisance to Madara because of Sasuke's strategic, you know, thinking. Because, I mean, yeah, Naruto has a lot more raw power as far as how much he can put out, and as far as chakra as well. But Sasuke is a completely different case when it comes to how meticulous he is. And I mean, even Madara was more concerned about Sasuke really than he was about Naruto. Like, yeah, he had his concern about Naruto, but he was like, you know what, Sasuke's got a keen eye, and that Rinnegan with Sasuke's tactical prowess is gonna prove a problem. So I need to get that eye before anything else happens.
Yeah, he was actually going for Sasuke's Rinnegan during that fight, and the entire fight revolved around Madara trying to figure out Sasuke's Rinnegan ability, Amenete Jikara, which, you know, it says something. Like, Madara, he wasn't very concerned about Naruto in that fight. Sure, he was clashing against him, but like, he was, you know, I need to get Sasuke's eye here.
Yeah. Well, even during that fight, he was like, bro, if I had just gotten Sasuke before Obito, then all this would have been. So, like, just the fact that he was thinking about something like that within their battle, like, it says something about Sasuke's, like, just keen instinct. So, and I agree. I think that, like, Sasuke will, in a certain way, put up a better fight than
because
Naruto.
Like, he managed to hurt Juubidara much worse than Naruto ever did. Like, the worst Naruto did to Juubidara was, you know, cutting him across the stomach with a lava Rasen Shuriken, and that was pretty superficial. But the first time Sasuke hits Juubidara, it's with his sword, and it's because Juubidara lunges at him, and he uses Amenete Jikara to switch places with his sword, and then Madara impales himself. And then Sasuke cuts Juubidara in half with his Chidori spear, which is pretty crazy. And arguably, you could say that if Sasuke hit his neck, then Juubidara would die. But, you know...
And then he uses the Ajijuchikara with the Chidori and completely catches Madara off guard.
Yeah, like, that's insane. Like, the way Sasuke uses Amenete Jikara in that fight, it's the only time he uses it like that. He literally teleports Madara in front of him as he's swinging his Chidori, hitting him instantly. And Naruto hits the Rasengan as well.
Like, had Madara not acted like quick enough, he may have actually been like in a bad way.
Yeah, sealed in that. They were going to seal him with the moon and sun seals in that situation, but he substituted with the Limbo Clone, which is a very handy ability for him.
Yeah. So, like, you know, conversely, when we're talking about, you know, Sasuke's tactical prowess, that's the thing too. Like, Madara, just as smart, in my opinion, because he's able to think of something like that on the fly, you know. And like, Madara is very self-aware of his abilities, unlike Sasuke. Like, because Sasuke was still kind of like getting used to the Rinnegan's abilities. He even said so himself. He's like, oh, so this is what this left eye can do. Madara seemed like he knew the ins and outs of his abilities. Like, he knew like his move set, if you will. So like, I think that the fact that he's more used to his abilities and knows how to use them and when to use them, I think it's going to prove a lot more troublesome for Sasuke than Sasuke's, trying to learn as he's fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, even if we give Sasuke the knowledge he acquired during the war and say it's Sasuke in the Valley of the End, I still think that it's not going to sway the fight that much. Of course, Sasuke will be more adept at using the Rinnegan, and if we gave Sasuke Injurious Susanoo, I think this could actually be pretty dangerous for Madara, especially one Rinnegan Juubidara with Injurious Arrow, which hits very hard. Still, Injurious Arrow is probably in the same ballpark as Naruto's 9 Rasen Shuriken combo. I'm not sure if it would outright kill Madara, and that drained Sasuke's chakra pretty badly.
I was say, if he did kill Madara, then Sasuke would be in a bit of a bad way. After that, because again, I mean, at that point, assuming Madara hadn't put up his Susanoo yet, Madara can use Susanoo at that point and then just finish Sasuke off if he really needed to. If he really wanted to go all out and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of you now and not take any chances, then especially after the Injure Arrow, then I mean, what's Sasuke gonna do at that point?
And one thing people can bring up is the fact that Sasuke cuts Madara in half, and it's a speed feat because he rushes at Madara and does the cut and stuff, but he wasn't blitzed by Sasuke, and that's a thing people say, oh, he got blitzed. No, Madara noticed Sasuke coming. He even says to himself, oh, Sasuke sure is fast, look at him.
Yeah.
But he didn't do anything about Sasuke's strike because, well, he saw it wasn't gonna be a killing blow. He was going to regenerate regardless, and he was much more concerned with entering the Kamui dimension to get his second Rinnegan than anything else, so he didn't even bother putting up a defense. He just Kamui himself after stealing Kakashi's eye.
Yeah, so I mean, again, like you said, it's not necessarily a blitz because it's not as if Madara was facing Sasuke and Sasuke just happened to be that fast too. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Sasuke wasn't fast in the scene, but I get what you're saying though, because it's different than when Kakashi just kind of straight up blitzed Kaguya point blank, Kaguya
facing her, she was facing Kakashi. Even though you could say, well, she was caught off guard because Kakashi just phased through her bone and she wasn't expecting that. She thought she killed him, but still, she was looking at him, and Madara wasn't. He had to turn his head around and he looked at Sasuke coming at him still and thought, oh, he's fast. But they're definitely relative in speed. I'm not saying Madara is faster or Sasuke is faster. I would even argue maybe Sasuke is a bit faster than one Rinnegan Juubidara, but not fast enough to say, oh, he's gonna blitz him and completely annihilate him. And the same thing applies to Naruto, to be honest, because, well, Sage of Six Paths Naruto with the Kurama chakra was pretty relative to Juubidara. He was actually getting hit by the Limbo clones, and, well, you can make an argument that Naruto is faster than Sasuke. A pretty good argument at that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And because I mean, the entire war, that was kind of what Naruto was being built up as, is
fast.
The next, well, the next teleporter next to Minato. He's the next Minato. So I think if I'm being honest, this might be my interpretation of it. I think that Sasuke's reaction time is what makes him fast. He doesn't have the Eclipse travel speed that Naruto has, but his reaction time, because of his visual perception, is what makes him fast.
It's insane. Also, I think the same thing can be applied to Madara here as well, because Madara in the Edo Tensei form was reacting very casually to KCM2 Naruto and saying, oh, just take this Bijudama back, and shoving it back at Naruto, trying to blitz him.
This is kind of I don't know if it's fair to use, but Madara's fast because, like you said, whenever he went to get Kakashi's eye, Kakashi literally had turned for a second. He turned it into I know he had his back turned or whatever, but he saw Madara for a split second and didn't have much time to react. So
yeah, he didn't do anything. Kakashi was just sitting there.
So this is Kakashi who's been able to react to multiple things. Again, KCM2 Naruto, and again, his back was turned, but still, the fact that Madara just came up and swept the eye, hey Kakashi, bye Kakashi, and then just out. And so and not even that, he switched his body for the Limbo clone before really Naruto and Sasuke could really notice. He did that, and they were completely caught off guard. What the heck? When did he just do that? So like Madara's fast. Like I don't want to sleep on Madara's speed either. I think, like you said, I think they're relative, if anything.
And like the best way I could see Sasuke winning this is to use his insanely OP exploit of a minute Jikara to teleport Madara in front of him and try to decapitate him or something like that, because like a Chidori, just a Chidori is not gonna kill him. Even his Onyx Chidori wasn't really enough to kill Juubidara in that state. He hit him straight on and Madara was still able to substitute regardless.
Yeah, and it sucks we have to go to this like the, you know, cutting your head off as the ender, but like that's like really the only thing he can do, because like, he just cuts his top half off, but he's gonna regenerate. So like that's, I mean, what else could you do?
Yeah, Sasuke, you could say he can use Chibaku Tensei to seal Madara, but Madara can just shrug off a single Chibaku Tensei from Sasuke. They were able to seal Kaguya because they were using the moon and the sun seals from the Sage of Six Paths, and that was a very special ability. It wasn't something Sasuke could do by himself. He literally needed Naruto for that. That's the only reason why he put up the Susanoo to defend everybody against the Infinite Tsukuyomi, was because Naruto needed to be protected so that they can use the seal together and seal Kaguya slash Madara.
Yeah. So I mean, I said all the other, like all the Rinnegan's abilities aren't really gonna do anything either to Madara. Like I said, maybe one Rinnegan Madara, but I mean,
yeah, dual Rinnegan Madara. Like there's nothing Sasuke can do about it really. It's just a lost case.
So 1 to 10. Oh, if we did one Rinnegan Madara, 1 to 10.
I'd say 7 or 8 for Madara. What do you think?
I want to say that one Rinnegan Madara, I'd say Madara would probably still take it, but like I'd say 5 to 6 out of 10 times.
Oh, so you think Sasuke has a better chance than Naruto does?
I want to say yes, but like it just sucks because like we compare to chakra rates, chakra levels. Like Sasuke does not have nowhere near as much.
Yeah, but honestly, at this level, like I don't think running out of chakra would be a problem for a decent amount of time, even for Sasuke, because Sasuke still had a lot of chakra in his Rinnegan state.
Well, my point in saying that is like if he starts like, you know, using all these abilities that he has, but if because he can't get the kill, you know, because Madara is just so freaking durable and has so much hacks, you know, he's gonna expend so much chakra. And then like we said earlier, like what if the Indra arrow doesn't work, you know, like, and he spends all that chakra trying to get that to work and it doesn't work. And Madara is not only still alive but still has plenty of chakra to draw from, and it's just gonna be in a bad way.
Yeah, because honestly, if Naruto and Sasuke were able to survive both of their attacks clashing against each other and creating an exponentially larger explosion than just one of the attacks, then I'm pretty sure Juubidara would survive as well. Now, you could argue that Indra's arrow hitting Juubidara straight on would deal more damage than Naruto and Sasuke taking the explosion of their attacks clashing, but it was still both of the attacks exploding at the same time.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong though, but like that Indra arrow, wasn't it powered up by the Biju?
Oh yes, it was. Like we would have to be giving Sasuke the tail beast in this situation.
Well, let's say that like if you try to do an Indra arrow, quote unquote, but with like just his chakra, then
I don't think he can. Like it's implied that it's something he can only do with the tail beast chakra in his Susanoo, and then he powers the arrow with the tail beast chakra. He was using the Susanoo kind of like the Ghetto Mazo. That's what the Nine Tails tells Naruto.
Okay, so then I guess in that case, then if we had to restrict I mean that's honestly his like strongest attack. So, I mean, like, so if we couldn't give him that, I know he said we're going to in this case, but even if we couldn't in this hypothetical, then I mean, yeah, he'd have to try to cut Madara's head off. I don't know what else he could do. You know, and it's just getting him into that position to get his head cut off. It's gonna be pretty tough.
Yeah, so I think 7, 8 out of 10. You think 5 to 6 for Madara?
Well, just one Rinnegan Madara. If we're doing a dual Rinnegan Madara, then I think Madara takes it like.
Yeah, I think it's 10 out of 10. Honestly, to Rinnegan Madara. Like Sasuke was cutting off the Chibaku Tensei planetoids, and he was struggling with his Susanoo. And Naruto was helping him with a lot of massive Rasen Shurikens as well. And that was just a casual Juubidara jutsu. Like he didn't even try very hard. It was just like, okay, I'm gonna end this now. He jumps up, Chibaku Tensei.
I think I gave Sasuke like 8 or 9 out of 10, if only because he was the one that Madara was concerned about. Like,
I think that's fair. Yeah.
You know, so. But I can't say that I don't necessarily disagree with 10 out of 10 either, because Madara is just that much of a tank.
Yeah. So I think we can move on to the main event of the video, which is Kaguya Otsutsuki. And well, this one is interesting. I think we can skip single Rinnegan and even dual Rinnegan Juubidara and go straight to Rinnesharingan Juubidara, his strongest form, to fight Kaguya.
Yeah.
The other forms would struggle a lot, to be honest, and it's just better to have Madara at his full potential to fight Kaguya here, because he's honestly at another level than Sasuke, Naruto by themselves.
Yeah, let alone together.
Yeah.
Honestly, because even Naruto and Sasuke were struggling against Kaguya, together.
With DMS Kakashi too.
Yeah, with DMS, yeah, for real. So what are you thinking? Like just right off the bat, what are you thinking, bro? Because we talked about this before we recorded, and we were like, bro.
Yeah, we were talking about a lot of stuff. The first thing we have to kind of tackle is the fact that a lot of people are going to say, well, Kaguya is stronger than Madara by default because Sasuke says so. Well, yes, she has much more raw power, and Sasuke states that, well, when Kaguya appears, she has much more chakra than Madara. But just having more raw power and more chakra doesn't mean it's an auto win, because if you think about it, Chapter 1 Naruto, without the Nine Tails, had more chakra than Prime Itachi, for example. Who would win this fight? Prime Itachi, obviously. Still, I'm not saying this is going to be easy for Madara, much on the contrary, because Kaguya has a lot of stuff. First of all, she has the bone jutsu, the ash bone that can disintegrate things. Now, maybe you can make an argument that because Madara is a Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails and has so much Six Paths chakra, he wouldn't outright die to one of them. But even if you make that argument, he would still get hurt by those bones because Naruto's clones were getting, vaporized essentially.
Yeah. So the only thing that I think would be an exception to those bones would be the limbo clone, because even if Kaguya can see them, they're in a completely different plane, sort of they're invisible, but they seem like they're unaffected by physical things, which is weird because it's kind of inconsistent in a way, but like you said, it's only because Naruto. I'm referring to whenever Naruto blocked the limbo clone. But
Naruto blocked the limbo clone, and the limbo clone got bruised by Naruto's attack because they clashed their hands. But that was because Naruto has Six Paths Senjutsu, and that's why he was able to even hurt the limbo clone. Yeah. And the way the limbo clone operates is it cannot be touched by anything except when Madara wants it to touch something. So if he wants to punch, for example, the tail beast, he's like, okay, the limbo clone's gonna punch them. But if you don't want the limbo clone to be touched, when, for example, Sasuke tosses his sword at it, it just passed straight through the limbo clone and didn't do anything.
Yeah. So even if Kaguya sees the clones and she's like, well, I need to get rid of them first, she can't do anything about it. So, and also before we even get into any of the abilities, going back and forth, we also have to keep in mind that this is Kaguya, who has her brain is Zetsu. So that right off the bat is going to be a problem for Kaguya, and it might actually be a help for Madara, because Madara, as we discussed earlier, a ton of experience on his own, but he's also been shown to be a pretty decent tactician as well. And like I said before in the Sasuke section, he is aware of his own abilities, and he knows how to use them and when to use them. So I honestly think that her not being as strategic would be a big help for Madara.
So we see that right off the bat, Kaguya has the hair ability, which honestly is probably her most useless ability in this particular situation. I don't see her hair doing much against Juubidara, to be honest. He has truth-seeking orbs to defend himself. He has the limbo clones too. He has the Susanoo. And yes, Sasuke Susanoo struggled against Kaguya. He kind of disintegrates Sasuke Susanoo a couple of times, but Sasuke was also able to cut Kaguya and hurt her with his Susanoo. And we have to assume that Rinnesharingan Juubidara, he's gonna have a more powerful Susanoo than Rinnegan Sasuke.
Yeah, for sure. Just from having the 10 tails alone, and it's gonna amp the Susanoo exponentially. So I honestly think, seeing how if the fight was to go down within the first 1 to 2 minutes, I honestly would see that Madara, seeing how crazy strong and crazy with all these abilities that Kaguya has, eventually would probably put up the Susanoo, especially if let's say he summons a clone of a wood clone, or say he uses one of the true secret orbs to defend himself against Kaguya's ash bone and sees that it's disintegrated. and sees what happens if you get hit by it. He's like, oh, okay, I need to stay away from that. I need to make sure those don't hit me. You know what? I'm gonna put up my Susanoo just as like a extra layer of protection. So, and plus, Madara knows who Kaguya is. So like,
yeah, he would be aware. This would probably be the only situation in his entire life that he is fighting someone that's way stronger than he is in terms of power. Like, he would be with a lot of caution. He wouldn't be just crossing his arms like he was doing against the 5 Kage, just saying, okay, what can you do next? He would be like going 100%, you know, strategic, mind, everything.
Yeah, so like, I mean, except with the composure that Madara has, and like I said, and Kaguya not really being all there, you know, and being a little bit unstable, Madara might actually have the edge, you know, because we see how much of a like we said earlier, we see how much of a hassle Sasuke was to a Ten Tails Madara just because of his, you know, composure and quick analytical skills and just his clarity, like being able to think clearly. You know, we saw how much of a hassle he was to someone like Madara, and it would probably be the same case here where Madara has a calm not calm composure. He'd probably be a little bit freaked out because someone so powerful existed, but you know, I don't know. I know I'm rambling about it. I think it's stuff like this. It's pivotal in a fight like this because you'd be surprised at how often a battle can be won just on calm composure alone.
And the thing is, Kaguya would probably start by sending Madara to one of her dimensions, and Madara can fly, so the lava dimension wouldn't do anything to him. The desert dimension, whatever. Also, the acid dimension, he can fly away from the acid. So the only dimension I see being useful against Madara is the gravity dimension, which Kaguya herself was trapped by her gravity, and then she shot the bones at Naruto and Sasuke. But, well, Obito protected them, and I can see the Limbo clones doing the same thing for Juubidara here, just blocking the bones.
Yeah, and we also made a case earlier where we were talking about that, like, the Limbo clones more than likely wouldn't be affected by the gravity.
Yeah, because they are not in this world. They are not affected by physical matter unless Matter wants them to.
Yeah, like, while that might provide an opening for the Limbo clones while Kaguya is pinned down herself.
And the thing about Madara is that he has a light speed ability according to the data books, which is Light Fang. And we saw Naruto using a jutsu that's very akin to Kabuto's like scalpel, cutting off Kaguya's hand off, like her entire arm actually is cut off by that jutsu. So I think that Madara's Light Fang, which completely cut the truth-seeking orbs, would do the same thing to Kaguya. So Madara can definitely hurt her. He has means to do so. Like, it's not as though he's just gonna be throwing everything he has against her and she's not gonna be feeling anything. Also, he has the Rinnegan abilities. He has the entire Chibaku Tensei thing with 20 planetoids that probably wouldn't kill Kaguya, but it would be a good distraction, just like it was against Naruto and Sasuke. And then Madara can set up another attack. Now, the problem for Madara would be that Kaguya can kind of open portals around him, behind him, for example, and shoot the bones where Madara can't see them. However, Madara is a damn good sensory type, and, well, the Limbo clones can still move around and protect him even from behind.
And that's all without really, like, you know, going into, like, the fact that he might be because he knows who he's fighting. I would be surprised if he just goes into Susanoo right off the get-go because of who he knows he's fighting. So,
I think he would probably start using clones as distractions. Now, granted, he never uses wood clones as Juubidara, but there's nothing saying he couldn't because he uses wood style. He actually puts the entire world under his deep force emergence, so which is a pretty insane feat.
Yeah, you know, or, you know, not worst case, I suppose, but as a added layer of like protection, he can summon his wood clones and they can use their Susanos, you know, and I imagine that like these clones were going to be stronger than they were during the 5 Kage fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, these Ten Tail wood clones and their Susanos, like, they'll be stronger than what they were during their fight with the 5 Kage. Like you said, that might provide some distractions for Madara and like provide an opening. The thing what we also said though is like it's tricky because Kaguya is a case where we don't know if she can like be quote killed or she has to be sealed away. Like
so we are giving her mortality here by default, like that you could kill her because Hagoromo implies that Naruto and Sasuke had to seal her away in order to defeat her. He never tells her, well, if you do this or you do that, then she dies. No, you have to seal her. but even still, like, you can even argue that maybe because Juubidara has the powers of the Sage of Six Paths, the Rinnegan, and the Jubi, he could maybe pull off a sealing jutsu like that. And he also has the Rinnesharingan. We don't know exactly what Madara could do with the Rinnesharingan except for the infinite Tsukiyomi. And we know that Kaguya used her dimension hopping abilities with the Rinnesharingan. So maybe there's even an argument Madara could use that ability to run out of a dimension if he feels the need to. It's the only problem is that this jutsu taxes, your chakra reserves a lot. And that's why Kaguya was quote unquote the only person able to use it.
So like Madara would probably only, like, if he had to use it, it'd probably be a case of him needing to get out of the dimension and get back to the real world. But then he's screwed if Kaguya does it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Well, I guess not really. I guess because he could just wait till his chakra is good again, and good enough to try it again.
And Kaguya also had that ethereal hand jutsu, which was pretty powerful. Like, it broke Sasuke's Susanoo. However, Naruto was able to pretty much stalemate that jutsu with his own chakra mental hands, punching Kaguya back. So it's not something crazy or anything like that. It's pretty powerful, but not the biggest of deals, I would say.
Yeah, something that Madara should relatively be able to handle. I feel like. Yeah. This fight's crazy. Like, it'd be
like, I don't know. Like if they fought on Earth, like on the actual planet they live on, like it would probably devastate the entire place or something like that. Because when Madara was fighting against Hashirama, back in the day, they were much weaker, like exponentially weaker than these characters are now, and they were changing the entire landscape essentially.
I better say Madara and Kaguya would probably change half the planet's landscape if they fought. I don't know. This one's kind of crazy. I don't even want to. I'm almost afraid to give an answer as far as like rate, but I don't know. What are you thinking?
What I see happening in this fight is Kaguya, pressing her power against Madara, and Madara having to come up with several different counters and strategies, kind of like what was happening in the 5 Kage fights, but instead of Madara just being cheeky and testing their powers, but also coming up with a counter immediately afterwards, he would be completely on his guard and doing everything in his power to beat her. He would be taking this fight 110% seriously, which is something he kind of never really does. You could argue he took Naruto and Sasuke seriously, but that's even up in the air because he was, looking at them, analyzing them, but he wasn't completely on edge or anything. So he would essentially go in with a mindset that he would go in a fight against Hashirama, for example, in the Valley of the End. And like, you can see Madara coming up with clever tactics against Hashirama too. Like, oh, okay, Hashirama deflected my Bijudama. Let me put my sword into the Bijudama and toss it as a shuriken so you cannot just grab it with your wood golem. So he would be able to see things like that in the Kaguya fight. He's very good at those things. And even though she has more raw power than him, and you could argue even that a single bone attack would kill Madara, he has ways to go around that. And he also has 4 limbo clones in this situation, not just one. And if you want to give the video game feats, the limbo clones have Susanoo's, which would be more problematic and stuff like that. So I think there's definitely a chance here.
I would, if we're talking about through Madara's perspective, I would say that Madara could probably take it. I feel like you might disagree with it. I think that I want to say 4 out of 5. I want to say it's like 50-50. But because of just how overwhelming I feel like Kaguya can be, and like I said, I guess it would all depend on Madara's composure in the fight. Because like I said, I think that could make the biggest difference is how Madara approaches the fight.
I don't think he would be reckless like he usually is. Like, for example, when he fought against the Tail Beast, he was just jumping at them and like, okay, throw what you have at me, bro. Let's see what you have.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean like reckless I don't mean like composure in the way of reckless. I mean like maybe he might be a little bit like scared about like
I don't think he'd be scared. Like, he's never scared in the entire series. Like, even when he's staring, like, he wasn't scared when Hashirama used the 1,000-arm Buddha statue, which was like 5 to 10 times larger than his majestic attire Susanoo. Like, if he wasn't scared at that thing coming at him, he was like, no, come at me, Hashirama, let's do this.
I totally get that, but then it's like one of those things where like, well, Naruto and Sasuke seem pretty confident in their ability to fight Madara, but then Kaguya shows up and they are like crapping their pants.
I mean, honestly, they were pretty afraid of Rinnesharingan Juubidara as well when he was you know, landing there and saying, I'm the savior, I'm gonna deal with you. Of course they were more afraid of Kaguya, but still, there wasn't something that made them freeze during the fight. Like, they were still capable of fighting Kaguya, even though, you know, her chakra was massive and she had a big presence.
Yeah, I get that. I just feel like, I don't know, just because like this is someone that Madara has never fought before in his life. So like we said, like
I mean, yeah, I could say the same thing about Kaguya here. She's never fought Madara before. She's never fought anybody that, you know, could rival her in power before, as far as we know, at least. I mean, if you go by the filler episodes, she ate the chakra fruit, and that's when she got really powerful. Of course, later on we know that Ishiki came down with her. That's what's implied, and she got like a cheap shot on Ishiki and defeated him, whatever. But even still, Madara is not just someone she's gonna look at and say, oh no, I can just, you know, flick my finger and he's gone.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say Madara 6 out of 10. It'll still be very hard, like regardless of the way he wins. But I can still see him winning with Light Fang or anything really, because not anything, but we don't know what Madara could do in his Rinnesharingan state. I have to assume he had even more abilities that would be extremely powerful, but we just don't see the character fighting at all.
I think his fight got cut significantly short.
Unfortunately.
Shouldn't be cut at all.
But yeah, I guess this is Kaguya's fight against Juubidara. Now, we're gonna move on to DMS Kakashi, the last one, you know, chronologically. And in order for you guys to watch this one, it's not gonna be in this video, it's gonna be in Lightning Snow's channel, because we did a video about DMS Kakashi versus the God Tiers in the Verse, kind of like this video, and Juubidara is included on that list, so go watch that video.
Yes, and be sure to like and subscribe it too, because that one was just as crazy as this one, honestly, the fights that we did, the fights that we covered. So yeah, so if you want to know the answer to the Juubidara versus DMS Kakashi, go look on that on my channel and make a like and subscribe.
Yep, also subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video.